Many long-settled residents in Britain who never bothered with a British passport feel for the first time that the ground is shifting under them. That anxiety has two sources. Firstly, domestic politics that now treats settlement as a lever. Second, hostile states that treat migration flows as an instrument to unsettle Europe and the UK. Both pressures are real, and both can be managed with law, prudence and serious policing. Indefinite leave to remain is permission without a time limit to live, work, study and access services on the same basis as citizens. It can lapse if you spend 2 years out of the UK, or 5 years if you hold EU settlement scheme settled status. Revocation is rare and tied to specific grounds like serious criminality or deception. BRPs have moved to e-visas, so people should make sure their digital status is set up and linked to a current passport. The government has proposed a contribution-based model that would, in effect, lengthen most routes to ILR to 10 years with limited exemptions and consult on how positive contribution is assessed. This is a proposal, not law, but it signals a harder line. Reform UK goes even further, abolishing ILR altogether and forcing everyone without a British passport onto renewable 5-year visas with higher salary and English thresholds, plus welfare restrictions. The plan is retrospective for most non-EU ILR holders and has been attacked across parties and by experts as legally fraught and economically self-harming. The savings claim has also been challenged. Today's law protects ordinary people. Tomorrow's politics is noisier and could change the route to settlement, but abolishing hard-won ILR retroactively could face major legal and practical obstacles. That doesn't erase anxiety, but it explains it. There's a proven case study in 2021. There's a fellow called Dr. Haim O'Teal and a person called Mr. Sinitos, who are residents in the UK who have contributed their stories to the press, and their stories are worrying. As for the other story that migration is being used as a weapon, well, we already saw this in 2021 when Minsk engineered pressure on Poland, Lithuania and Latvia by pushing migrants to their borders, a textbook weaponization of migration with Russian backing. NATO and leading think tanks are now concerned that migration may be a hybrid threat, and the alliance must be ready to counter this. This year, the vector includes supply chains. UK and Bulgarian authorities have intercepted repeated lorry loads of inflatable boats at Kapitan Andreevo on the Turkey border, exactly the kit used for channel crossings. Bulgaria's interior minister has publicly alleged that Russian intelligence support to smuggling networks on that frontier is almost certain. The NCA confirms multiple seizures and an upstream disruption strategy with new UK funding for a border security command. So the fear is not abstract. You can see how Moscow tests seams in our policing and politics at relatively low cost. Pressure public trust with small boats, flood local services, then amplify the anger online. A grown-up response to all this would be six major points. So, sorting out the legal position. If ILR rules change prospectively, we need to legislate explicit grandfathering for people already settled, protect EU settled status under the withdrawal agreement, keep revocation narrow, publish clear travel absence rules in every e-visa account. We need to lower the temperature. We need to stop threatening long-term taxpayers with retrospective status shocks. Law should not be retroactive. If you want higher bars for future settlement, say so. Do not frighten families who have built lives under the old rules. We need to fix citizenship friction. For the long settled, we need to reduce fees, speed up processing and offer fee waivers or payment plans for low-income applicants. That is cheaper than years of churn and fear. We need to attack the supply chain, treat the small boat pipeline like a sanctions-worthy network, target the manufacturers who knowingly sell smuggling spec dinghies, the freight forwarders and warehouses, and the finance that clears the transactions. Expand upstream the seizures with Bulgaria, with Turkey, with EU partners. We need to counter disinformation in origin language channels. We need to fund rapid takedown and counter messaging on Telegram, WhatsApp, TikTok with credible multilingual content. This is part policing, part public health. We need to go beyond the slogans and the posters. We need to communicate with clear conversation, with clear targeted information. And we need to keep migration pressure response inside a hybrid threat framework alongside cyber and energy, measurable missions, shared intel, and joint attribution protocols. We need practical counsel for ILR holders who feel exposed. If eligible, people should apply for citizenship. That's the cleanest certainty. If people want to keep the ILR, we need to harden that status, create a UK VI account, link the current passport, store the share code. If people lack documentary proof of ILR, submit a no time limit application and get the e-visa. Keep a simple bundle, NI records, P60s, council tax, tenancy and mortgage, and any community roles. That helps to tighten the rules. And know the absence rule. 2 years abroad can lapse an ILR, 5 years for EU settled status. Plan travel accordingly. Do not panic at proposals. The current consultation has not changed the law. If you are close to eligibility, consider applying now rather than waiting for new criteria. And I know applications for citizenship are expensive. We should draw a line between the two things. People who made their lives here under our rules are part of us. Turning their status into a political football corrodes trust. Hostile states and criminal syndicates that manipulate routes, boats and rumours are adversaries. We need to meet them with upstream seizures, sanctions and facts. We need to keep the welcome firm, keep the border smart, and refuse to let fear drive out the law.